But it doesn't matter if it's fun. It's our duty to do this. And I just want to say to everybody who's a bureaucrat or a banker or a cop or anybody, I mean, you better really have a gut check and look in the mirror or turn the lights off this afternoon, sit there quietly in your living room and meditate for a few hours. And by meditate, I don't mean like some Buddhist. I mean think, cogitate. Really ask yourself, get conscious and think, is this a free country? Are we going in the right direction? And, of course, a lot of you will say, oh, no, we're not going in the right direction. It's Obama. Obama is meant to take the blame for this leg of the agenda. And then the Republican that comes after him will take the blame for the next leg, the next step. I mean, it's so, of course Obama's horrible. I hate him. I hate George Bush, but they are still just high-level minions. It's the system. It's Goldman Sachs. It's J.P. Morgan Chase. It's Bank of America. It's the shareholders of those companies. It's Rockefeller. It's the Queen of England. It's the Rothschilds. It's a handful of families. In Rothkopf, the head of the Kissinger Group's own words, it's 6,000 superclass. There's only 6,000 super minions that have a limited access to the full spectrum of information. I have made it my life's duty to study this system, to research it, and to understand it through a historical lens and to read the public white papers by these people of the plan they have for this planet. And let me tell you, their plan is one-child policies, forced abortions. Their plan is neo-feudalism. They call it austerity. And you watch our films like Obama Deception, Fall of the Republic, from a year and a half ago, 8 months ago. It's like prophecy. It's everything that's now unfolding. But it's not prophecy. This stuff's out in the open. You've just got to make the decision to recognize what it is and then speak out against it. We'll be right back.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com. Check them out today.
Alex told you the government announced recently that the recession is over. It ended on June of 2009. The millions of Americans unable to find work might not agree. Perhaps the recession ended for the bankers and government employees, but for the rest of us, things seem to be getting worse. Gold and silver haven't heard the news either. They've begun their long-expected journey to the moon. In addition to converting your shrinking dollars into gold and silver, you should consider a food savings account from eFoods Direct. They both make fabulous investments. Food is our greatest dependency, and we know it will be more precious than any financial resource. You and your family need food to survive a crisis, and you can't eat paper, stocks, or metals. Alex has been urging you to invest in delicious, easy-fix meals to enjoy now or save for long term. This will freeze the cost of your food while you can still afford it. Visit efoodsdirect.com on the internet or call 800-409-5633. That's efoodsdirect.com or 800-409-5633.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Shaffer, the head of Able Danger, is going to be joining us for a full hour. We're going to have Tarpley on for about 15 minutes. Webster Griffin Tarpley, an expert on Al-Qaeda leader, dined at the Pentagon just months after 9/11, Fox News exclusive. And, of course, Tarpley's been talking about Anwar al-Awlaki forever being one of the master dupe handlers. This is big news, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to be talking about that with Webster here in a moment. I first wanted to play just a few minutes of this clip. It's followed up by everything that the engineer running for Senate in Kentucky covers. And the video is up on prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com. Aaron Dykes wrote a big article about it last night. West Virginia Senate candidate questions foreknowledge of WTC collapse in live TB debate. Jeff Becker, running for the Senate in West Virginia in the Constitution Party. And this was on C-SPAN. But the issue here is the courage of this individual and the fact that if you run for office, governor, state senate, U.S. Senate, whatever, you get into the debates, the town halls, the local TV, the national TV. And if you watch C-SPAN these days, every time I do, and I get sent the clips constantly from YouTube, people upload it, they'll take 15 calls in a row saying 9/11's an inside job. Every time they've got the former head of Homeland Security or Israeli intelligence, I mean, anybody goes on these shows, they get bombarded. That's freaking the system out. And they just, independent line, 9/11's an inside job. Republican line, 9/11's an inside job. Democrat line, 9/11's an inside job. And they're articulate, they're informed. The system's got a problem. So they come out and announce 9/11 truth is dead. We've discredited it. Like it's like everybody knows the moon is made of cheese. And weak-minded people, you know, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Move along. These aren't the droids we're looking for. Move along. Move along. It's like a Jedi mind trick, but it only works on the weak-minded. And so I just wanted to play this clip before we go to Tarpley because we're dealing with 9/11 and stage terror with him here briefly. Here's a few minutes from C-SPAN where they bring up, what do we do about defense, fighting the Muslims? And he goes, well, this whole thing's fake. And he goes over it. Here it is.
I think we need to first take a look at what happened on September 11th. There were actually 3 buildings that collapsed on September 11th. World Trade Center 7 was 2 blocks away from the Twin Towers. I think this is important to consider because it was not rained on by any debris. It was just a 40-story building. And at 5 p.m. on 9/11, Jane Stanley, the reporter for the BBC, was standing right in front, was standing at ground zero and reported that Building 7 had collapsed, when in fact you could still see it over her shoulder. And then 20 minutes later, it did collapse. This is foreknowledge, and it needs to be investigated. Additionally, Larry Silverstein, the owner of World Trade Center 7 complex, before 9/11 had taken out a multi-billion-dollar insurance policy to protect his property against a terrorist attack. And then in 2002, on a PBS station interview, he said that he gave the order to pull it. Pull it is a controlled demolition term. More evidence of foreknowledge. These are facts. You can watch the interview. You can look. You can get the BBC footage. How did the British know 20 minutes ahead of time that this was going to happen? This needs to be investigated. There is a preponderance of anomalies surrounding the events on 9/11. Architects and engineers, over 1,000 degreed and licensed architects and engineers have looked at the information, and there's just, there's so much information that needs to be, that doesn't make sense with the official story. The only way for the official story to make sense is if the laws of physics had changed on that day. And I'm an engineer, and I can tell you that they did not change.
Mr. Becker?
Okay, then it cuts to all the videos from mainstream news of exactly what he talked about. That's an important article because more people can then imitate what he's doing, and they can't stop us. Even when they try to shut the web down, people run for office, you're going to be on television, you're going to be able to talk about it being an inside job. And remember, 9/11's been used to launch all these wars, to take your liberties, to set up this control grid. Now, recapping this, and we're going to talk about with Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Shaffer coming up, I got a sneaking suspicion that Fox was leaked this information. I wonder where it came from. Exclusive. Al-Qaeda leader dined at the Pentagon just months after 9/11. Anwar al-Awlaki, trouble with his name, Anwar al-Awlaki may be the first American on the CIA's kill or capture list, but he was also a lunch guest of a military brass at the Pentagon, including the Secretary of the Army. Now, he had already been in the media. They'd said that he was behind 9/11, but there he is at the Pentagon. And this is the guy they say is behind the Fort Hood shooter. This is the guy behind the dud bomb in Times Square. This is the guy behind the underwear bomber. And in every case, the underwear bomber, the government got him on the plane on record without a visa or passport. Our government. The State Department admits that. I mean, this is crazy. And it's like George Bush Sr. meeting on the morning of 9/11 in a Carlyle Group function, London Guardian AP, with the head of the bin Laden family at his table. It's now they say Bandar Bush is running the Al-Qaeda attacks. Bandar Bush, the guy on C-SPAN, the ambassador from Saudi Arabia, the guy on Larry King Live 2 days after 9/11. I mean, it's insane. It's just they're right out in the open that they're doing this, and they stage pure terror attacks like 9/11. Then they have other events where they have handlers that go out and find mental deficients. They always have low IQs. They're on welfare. They look drugged, like the underwear bomber. We've only got him for this segment and part of the next because he's got a tape with Genesis, his own Saturday show that's taped every week, World Crisis Radio. Webster Griffin Tarpley, doctor of history. He's also an economist and author. No stranger to this radio show. Webster,
Hi, Alex.
Good to have you here. We have the headline, Al-Qaeda mastermind invited to the Pentagon after 9/11. And we have our other headline, Al-Qaeda is a front group for the U.S. military-industrial complex. I mean, this is so out in the open, Webster. Tell us about Awlaki.
Well, if you look at my website, topley.net, my nickname for this guy is Awlaki the CIA lackey. I think that makes it easy to remember. So he's Anwar al-Awlaki, and he's a provocateur working for U.S. intelligence, and he's part of this gaggle of murderous thugs, but of course also provocateurs. In other words, people who are used for political purposes. And typically what Awlaki, his past, if I can just reconstruct it off the top of my head, he was in a mosque in Northern Virginia, where I think a couple of the 9/11 alleged hijackers, the patsies for that, were attending. And then he was over here in Maryland, and there he got connected to, I guess that must have been Major Hassan. And later on, then, he's connected to the underwear bomber. Now, connected simply means that if you have a patsy that has reached the point of ripeness and maturity to do something, and you want to deploy the patsy as a kamikaze in some way, you want to be able to say, if you're the U.S. intelligence community, that this was Al-Qaeda doing it. So the way you do this is to have them exchange emails with Awlaki, the CIA lackey, and then you can say, aha, again, we told you so. It's Al-Qaeda. They do exist.